where a double shooting has sent 2 men to the hospital. Now, it was earlier reported that one of those men had died, but police just a second ago confirmed that that's not the case at all, that both of those men are still alive right now in an area hospital. They had spent the whole day at the pool, and she came home only to find out that her son had just been shot and killed. Benjamin's girlfriend was also reportedly in the apartment complex with him. Billy Frank Davis Jr. has been found guilty on all 10 charges in the 2012 killing of 8-year-old Aaliyah Irvin, including 2 counts of capital murder. An 18-year-old girl here is dead after a fire in the 1100 block of Southwest 8th Street. Now, fire crews responded to this call of a person potentially trapped inside a home on fire. The problem is these residential streets, they are so snow-packed. And like Trent over here, we just met him. He's stuck right now. He's trying to get to work this morning. Topeka police officers are waiting on detectives to give them information and could not comment this morning as to why 37-year-old Sheikh Aziz shot a woman inside the Overlook Apartments behind me. About an hour into the manhunt for the suspect last night, we received a call in the 13 newsroom. The man on the other line said he was the person they were looking for in the shooting of the officer. Several viewers called us when they saw a naked man walking on Topeka streets 2 weeks ago. 13 News finally caught up with him, and now he's telling his side of the story. Meanwhile, authorities looking into the shooting continue to review a request to release affidavits related to the 2 suspects arrested in connection with Corporal Harwood's death. Lawrence police are working to identify the badly decomposed body of a man who was found in a city park. Amazing wipeout last night, so buckle up, everybody. It's going to be a fun night. The Kansas City Royals avoided elimination after routing the San Francisco Giants last night, forcing a deciding Game 7 in the World Series. Arson dogs have a lot of different skills. Not only can they sniff out an accelerant in a fire, they can also pick out a suspect from a lineup. This big guy right here is named Caesar, and over his 16 years of therapy work, how to drive the message home that it's okay to say no to drugs, and it's okay that if you don't drink, and really getting students making positive and healthy choices in their lives.
I was just a donor. Angie and Jennifer are the parents.
William Marotta and his attorney Ben Swinnen plan to appeal the decision handed down by a Kansas judge Wednesday that he must pay child support for a 4-year-old girl born to a lesbian couple from his sperm donation. Judge Mary Matv said he is the presumptive father because the couple did not use a licensed physician to artificially inseminate.
We had a contract that said I'm not going to be a part of it. I don't ever intend to be a part of it. They don't want me to be a part of it.
In 2009, Marotta answered an ad put out by Angie Bauer and Jennifer Schreiner, who wanted to conceive.
Why not? 2 people wanted to have a baby, and they couldn't do it all by themselves. So I assisted, and that's about it.
After discussion and planning, they all signed a contract waiving Marotta of all parental rights, which the court said is void.
In this case, the court just said, I ignore it. I don't even look at it.
Because Schreiner received government assistance when she split from Bauer, the state of Kansas went after Marotta. He is not considered a sperm donor under Kansas statute, which Swinnen and Marotta feel needs to be updated.
Most states have now adopted the newer version of the Uniform Parentage Act.
Do you think the state is behind this?
Yes.
Should it go as far as undoing families? Because that's what this is about. This is undoing a family. I take issue with that. I think we need to have a debate about it.
If the moms would have been able to put both of their names on the birth certificate, I wouldn't have been a part of this. If both of the moms could be married, I wouldn't be a part of this.
A man chasing his ex-girlfriend on June 30th opened fire at a Topeka BP gas station. Police later arrested Daniel Craigett for the incident following an hours-long standoff. Nobody lost their lives the day of this shooting, but if it hadn't have been for a complete stranger, this story may have turned out much different. Brian Snyder happened to be at the BP when the woman ran inside. He was grabbing a couple Mountain Dews before returning to work at Stormont Vale. He didn't think he'd end up a patient at the ER instead.
I saw him walking across the parking lot, and, I put my foot up against the door. I said something, told him he just needed to go away, and he just smiled, and that's when shots started.
Brian suffered serious injuries to his hand, liver, lungs, and heart. In that instant,
I just thought about my kids. That's why when I went, the survival mode, when it was over, I had to get out and get help so that I was there for them.
But Brian doesn't consider himself a hero.
It's worth it to do the right thing, because if you don't, you're just another bystander that lets something go.
He's now coping with the aftermath with his family. He hasn't yet spoken to the woman he saved.
Just hope she knows that she's got her second chance, I guess, and if she needed one, and just move to a positive future. Everybody has their own little destiny. I guess that was mine.
Sean has been living with HIV since 2003. He lives a healthy life now, but it wasn't always easy.
What I had understood was I had a 3-year death sentence, and so I lived with it on my own for months and became extremely isolated and depressed until the people at Positive Connections really gave me the strength and knowledge to know that it is a disease that I could live with.
That death sentence stigma of HIV and AIDS has gone away a bit since its height in the 80s. And with all the resources readily available today, the folks at Positive Connections in Topeka are wondering why more people have tested positive in 2014.
So, we've basically doubled in the last 2 years.
And especially why most of these positive tests belong to people between the ages of 17 and 28.
What we're seeing is that youth are not being educated, youth are not being, are not aware of the risks that they're engaging in. That's a long life to live taking HIV meds.
It's a life James wants to avoid. He gets tested every 3 months and volunteers.
It's my livelihood.
James says he tries to convince many of his friends to get tested, but they just don't want to know.
It's terrifying. Why would you put your life in jeopardy? If you have any doubt, come down. It's 30 minutes. That's nothing.
Compared to
the rest of your life living with the virus.
There is a specific stigma that still lives in people's minds that James and Sean say contributes to the problem.
It's not just a gay male disease anymore. Just because you're with the same person for 20 years doesn't mean that that person's with you for 20 years.
My case, it wasn't a flight of fancy, it wasn't drug use. It was actually somebody that I had known for about 16 years, somebody that I knew, trusted, and cared for, but didn't know that they had it. Not knowing is not knowing. And I just really think that our young people, just the population in general, still puts their head in the sand when it comes to HIV, because it isn't in the news. It isn't the hot topic.
More of Positive Connections funding is now going toward prevention services.
I really want to get out there and somehow, get people educated before those infections take place.